All right, we are back here. Week number 5, today is Tuesday. They did some work yesterday, tidying up a few loose ends, and today we had the inspection. And the inspector had a few things that they wanted us to fix. We got to put some tape here where those holes right here, some flashing tape that you see, some more tape and cap nails and things like that. There's just a few things that they want to see done before we go ahead and release this. So we got some exposed OSB and tape, but nothing too big, a lot of minor things. The guy will be back out here just to see what we got going on, and then we'll go from there and start working some more on the inside with some drywall. So now that basically the rough-in is finished with the electrical and all of that, all of the outlets are where they need to be for switches and receptacles and the lights as well, I've decided that I wanted to move my Ethernet from underneath the TV over to this column and utilize this column that's going to kind of stick out and separate the two rooms, which we wanted to avoid, but we can't avoid it because we need to support the beam. So we might as well make something out of it, right? So don't mind the mess right now. It's just temporary until I get a couple more jumpers, because a couple of the Ethernet that I brought up from the basement, the black wire here, does not reach all the way down to this orange junction box that I want to connect it all to, this Ethernet faceplate here. So right now it's kind of up there to relieve the stress on some wires, but that's the plan right now. And I've also been a little bit busy drilling some holes for the home office, the new home office area over at the south end of the addition, so that we could route the Ethernet up and through the addition here and all the way over to this column where it will be the central hub. And also I drilled a hole for the TV where there's going to be Ethernet to give the TV some internet. There's also going to be a cutout later where I'm going to put a cutout, so that's going to hide all of the HDMI cables behind the wall, and might as well take advantage of all of the open area right now. So like I said, this is going to be the Ethernet that I've dropped a line down here for. There's just going to be like a square cutout here that's going to feed all of the cables for like Ethernet, HDMI, another hole down here for the speaker or whatever that I want to connect to. And this is going to be the power outlet for the TV. So at the end of it all, it's going to be really nice and clean looking. You're not going to see a bunch of wires on the wall, and that's what we wanted to do. And the easiest way to do it is just take advantage of having no drywall or insulation to mess with, and everything goes pretty fast. Also, a technician from Metronet's going to be here so that we can try to move this fiber optic cable from this location over closer to the column so that everything's closer together and have less wire and cable messes. So today's Wednesdays. The guys came over earlier today, and what they did was they just cleaned up the area from all of the inspection findings and tidied up little loose ends there, added things that the inspector wanted us to get done, and so now it looks pretty good. Also, the Metronet internet guys, the technicians, they came over really fast early in the morning. The next day after I called them yesterday, they were here, and they easily moved my fiber optic line from one location of the house into the addition. So just a light day today, but I would say it's still pretty good progress, and I'll show you guys what I did with the internet today. Okay, so I finally organized the internet area. It used to look like this. And now it looks like this, and this is still temporary, but it's temporary for now until we get the drywall and insulation, everything in here. But the concept here is that I added smaller jumpers here so that we could keep this organized and more clean. And we'll have a cabinet here, maybe about this high and just as wide as the stud in the column here, and all of this will go inside of this cabinet with a hole on the cabinet on this side, and here once we reestablish the Metronet fiber here in the middle of the wall. So then everything's tucked away, cleaned up, and you won't be able to see all of these cables later on. But everything's wired up, the slack is all up at the roof line in the attic and stuff like that, so if I ever need to go up there and change things or move things around or change wires or add more, it's easy to do that. So that's what it looks like. I think it's turning out great, and I can't wait to see what it looks like when it's all done. All right, so today it's the end of Friday at the moment. It does sound a little bit quieter in here, and that's because we've got insulation in the walls and mostly in the majority of the ceiling here. My voice is not echoing as much as it usually is. I'm sure it's going to echo a little bit more when we get the laminate flooring in, but right now everything is getting a little bit quieter, feeling a little bit more homey-ish maybe. But as you can see, they spent some time putting the insulation in the walls and in the ceilings. In the ceilings, we have a little bit thicker insulation, which I believe it's I don't know if there's R, but I know that the walls are R15, and these, I thought they said something like R34 or something like that. But anyway, it's thicker. It's going to do a better job of keeping the place a little bit cooler now, and the air conditioner probably doesn't have to be running all the time. Okay, you can see here that we left it a little bit open. That's because our plan is to actually put an access here to access the attic, which is a little bit smaller area, but it's still sufficient enough to put some things in there. So it's going to be left open. They're going to have to frame this out to put an access door in there. It's going to be about I think 56 inches long and about 22.5 inches wide. So what they're gonna have to do is build on a couple of these joists, cut one out, and then frame it in there so that we can actually access it. And then once that's all done, they'll tidy it all up and then put some insulation in there. And the last thing that they did this week, today on Friday, was that they put the drywall up and covered up the holes here where our ventilation is for the HVAC, so above the island. Now we've got drywall there. They'll put another coat of mud on there, a few more coats probably, and then sand it smooth and drill another hole for a puck light or a round circular light that's going to go in that where you see the wire coming out. So it's all coming together pretty good here. I would say maybe about another 2 to 3 more weeks we'll be all finished with painting. We still have to do that. We still have to put the flooring down. There's still a lot of things to do, but these guys are working fast. There's still a lot of days in the weeks of the month here that I think they could probably meet their deadline. Maybe, I don't even know if there's a deadline, but maybe by Labor Day or something, it should be at least 95% finished. I also don't want to forget to mention our cool little ventilation system here in the bathroom that is installed. They just put that exhaust pipe on there, and basically this light is pretty cool. It's got a light and a vent on it, and they are ran independently on their switches. So that'll make it convenient. So it's been a bit of a busy week, but not too busy. We had 3 days where we didn't have any work because of inspections and fixing the issues of the inspection, and then having another inspection to verify that the work was done correctly. So they really only worked a couple of days, but I feel like we still made pretty good progress given the circumstances. Mostly of the insulation is done, and that preps us for next week where we're going to be able to put the cabinet or finish the cabinets over here, put the dishwasher in its location, put the granite on top of the island, show you guys that next week. And there's a couple other things, but we'll have to see how it goes, and we'll show you then how it all turns out. So guys, if you like this video and if you have questions or comments, just go ahead and click like and leave the comments in the comment section. Or if you have questions about what we're doing or what ideas we could add to it, maybe we have time to change things, maybe not, I don't know. But I think it's coming along pretty good right now. And I really appreciate you guys watching. So we'll see you guys next week for week number 6 of the home renovation.